In early October of last year, I sat down with my staff to discuss the remaining 15 months we had together in the City Council and how best we could finish our tenure as productively as possible. We crafted a list of priorities which, at the moment, were the most important matters in the world professionally. Little did we know what was about to happen to our community later that month. Nothing in the previous 2 decades in public service had prepared me for what I experienced the night Sandy hit and what I saw Tuesday morning after the storm. The images were heartbreaking, unbelievable, and daunting. And to an individual, those of us touring Father Capodanno that morning after the storm, including Borough President Molinaro, Deputy Borough President Burke, Senator Savino, and various Bloomberg administration officials, we were left shaken to the core. Just couldn't believe our eyes. I'm the only Staten Island elected official in office today who was in office on 9/11. And there was an emotional toll with each of these tragedies. But with 9/11, the only thing I could do was show my respect and offer a small measure of comfort by attending memorials, masses, and wakes. But from the first moments after Sandy, I knew this would be very different and that I had a role to play. I had responsibilities. People were depending on me and us. When you're in the business of problem solving and a woman is standing in her kitchen, or what was left of her kitchen, and she asks you 6, 7, 8 questions in rapid-fire succession during probably what is the most critical time of her life, and you have no answers for her, that's difficult to accept and it eats at you. And so began this ongoing journey to recover and rebuild Staten Island. Somehow, we pieced together those first few weeks. We got people fed, we got them clothed, and we got them warm. And if I may, I simply would like to take a moment to thank and acknowledge the phenomenal work and sacrifice of some amazing people who rose to the occasion. First, to all of my colleagues in government on Staten Island, who rose above partisan divide, who put aside ego and to an individual helped in their own way. I've never been prouder to be a colleague. To our city workers, particularly the firefighters, the cops, the sanitation workers, to the Bloomberg administration's Team Staten Island, and all of the volunteers, many of whom continue to this day, you provided Staten Island with the proudest moments during our darkest days. I also would like to thank the Staten Island Advance and New York One for giving voice to this borough. The last 6 months have been difficult, but we have an opportunity, brought about by tragedy and real loss, to ensure we have a more sustainable, vibrant community. 6 months later, we don't have many of the answers we had expected by now or that people need. That still weighs on all of us. But each day, there are many good people, believe me, pushing all levels of government for the clarity folks need so that individually and collectively, we can make informed, educated decisions. Councilman Vinnie Ignizio and I continue to press the City of New York to include in the options to Staten Islanders, and in fact to make a main thrust of the rebuilding plan, an acquisition for redevelopment program that provides owners the chance to sell their property for redevelopment while maintaining a right to trade up to a new housing stock to be constructed. Blocks of out-of-compliance homes that were not built to modern codes and which remain susceptible for future storms should be acquired through a voluntary acquisition plan. What they are replaced with should not simply be left to the free market, encouraging some of the Wild West paradigm that once characterized development in this borough. The private sector is critical to this rebirth, but instead of ad hoc development or individual blocks or lots, an organized, controlled development through an RFP process or master plan should be embraced. Moreover, we need to readily accept that what might ring true in the Mid-Island might not be the case in the South Shore. Likewise, within individual communities, the solution may vary block to block or even on the same block. We need to keep in mind and realize that sometimes that means in-kind replacement of one-family homes. Other times, perhaps two-family homes with an apartment that can be rented is the better call. And instead of reflexively saying no, we should aggressively investigate sustainable housing stock used in other locales in the city and across the country. Collectively, let's show the public various options. Give them the chance to say, no, I don't want to live in that, or wow, I had no idea we could build something like that in our community. The goal of various housing stocks, safer, stronger, more resilient, that allows some folks to move back into their home community, but under better conditions, that doesn't radically alter the character of our community, but fundamentally changes and improves the quality of life, is achievable with cooperation, communication, and vision. Scripture says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we'll reap a harvest. These words resonate with anyone in public service who leads with his heart, but in particular, anyone impacted by Sandy in any way can understand and hopefully find comfort in them. When it comes to rebuilding this community, this local government, we will not get weary. We will do good, and the impacted communities and Staten Island as a whole will be built stronger, safer, and sounder, and we will all reap from that harvest.